Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Drop Zone with your boys Jeff Walsh and Anthony Young. How you doing today, bud?
Not too bad. Like me, you were just talking about. It's been kind of a long week already. But we are here. We're back with another episode. Again, we're trying to think of new ideas to do every week because it's been a bit quiet. But other than that, how are you doing?
Not too bad. I was supposed to have an MRI done today on my knee, but they canceled that because I have to put it to a different location because of the defibrillator I have in my chest. The
Mhm.
technician from the company that made it has to be at the hospital, and he only goes to certain hospitals. And the hospital that I happen to that's in my location, he doesn't go to. Go figure.
Yep, of course.
So yeah, that's rescheduled. I had to reschedule that for next month.
Mhm.
Yay! But other than that, oh, and just for people, so we let everybody know, um, those of you that are watching us on one of our profile pages or on YouTube, I put out a message in a group chat that until we get the situation with Facebook fixed with the streaming service, we won't be streaming to the group until further notice. So yeah, we just been having issues after issues,
Mhm.
but we just keep on going.
Yep. To make that joke of your that'll be our issue till the end of time. Is that page of streaming to it?
Pretty much. Uh, so we only really got one topic for today. Um, we're going to be discussing the top 25 free agents for 2026. This is going to be a very interesting list.
Yeah, I mean, I got just a little NFL news, not much. We had a few trades, but other than that, that's just been a bunch of guys getting released and stuff and tagged. So
Well,
yeah, we don't really have much.
let's go through the news first, and then we could get into the list.
Yeah. Uh, Last Thursday, the Jets and Titans agreed on a trade to send defensive end Jermaine Johnson to Tennessee for defensive tackle Trevondre Sweat. Uh, and crazy news. Everyone's gonna be hopping on this player to get him. The Colts gives the gives quarterback Anthony Richardson permission to seek a trade. That is a huge news, Tony. I know that is that is groundbreaking news. Uh, but yeah, it looks like they're ready to move on from Anthony Richardson, which I'm sure Jason is very very happy about.
I'm
Um,
sure he is too.
oh yeah. Dallas, did they put the franchise tag on wide receiver George Pickens, which is 27.29 million guaranteed. Minnesota will be releasing Aaron Jones and defensive tackle Javon Hargrave, barring a trade uh, until the 11th. Kansas City plans to release offensive tackle Juwan Taylor. That saves them $20 million in cap. And a shocking trade happened 2 days ago. Detroit traded running back David Montgomery to Houston for offensive lineman Juice Scruggs, a fourth round pick and a seventh round pick in 2027. Montgomery totaled 2,506 rushing yards, 33 touchdowns in 3 seasons with the Lions. So the Twitter monster that we always talk about here on the channel uh, for the Lions at running back comes to an end. Again, like I said, a bit shockingly, um, I wasn't expecting to get this news at all. I just always expected them to have those two. But I mean, I guess they were not utilizing Gibbs the way that they were supposed to last year. Um, trying to be too nice and do a 50-50 split, and eventually they just gave it all to Gibbs. So it's a nice fresh start there in Houston for Montgomery. And again, Gibbs is going to be a free agent this offseason, um, so they're going to try and re-sign him.
Um,
So yeah, what's your thoughts on the trade? I
if
mean,
if I was Montgomery, I would have said no. I do not want to go to Houston. No disrespect to Houston, but in the past, Houston has been basically a graveyard running back graveyard for running backs. All big name running backs that was basically either at the end of their prime or in the midst of their prime and went to Houston, fell off the face of the planet. Hey Brian, I mean a lot of them just fell off the face of the planet and they were not good going to Houston. Now maybe it'll be different with the talent that's there and the coaching staff that's there, but yeah, it's just like a wide receiver, you know, going to Baltimore. Baltimore has been known as the place where wide receivers go to die. Houston was the same way as long along with Arizona. So yeah, I mean, I'm hoping his career gets rejuvenated and they're using him the right way, but I'm just skeptical about it.
me too. Their offensive line isn't the best, and CJ Stroud is he's not bad, but a little inconsistent. So, I mean, I guess we'll see. But yeah, again, I mean, I was shocked by it, to say the least. Washington plans to release quarterback Marshall Lattimore to save $18.5 million. Detroit releases their offensive lineman Graham Glasgow to save 5.5, and Houston released safety W Ward to save $750,000. A lot of just moves just to save cap room for the upcoming free agency that will be happening. Um, the Jets put a franchise tag on running back Maurice Hall, which is $14.29 million guaranteed. Minnesota is open to trading Pro Bowl linebacker Jonathan Gareinard due to cap issues. They don't really want to move on from him. Reports say they want to keep him, but again, cap issues may force them to trade him. Uh, Shockingly, Pro Bowl, Chicago Bears Pro Bowl center Drew Dahlman, he retires at the age of 27 after only 5 seasons in the NFL. His dad was a player and a coach, and he's seen the after effects of like CTE and how it affects the brain and everything. So he retires after only 5 seasons. Um, Shockingly, so now the Bears are going to be scrambling to find a new center for their offensive line. And again, I'm sure Jason is happy with this one. The Colts transition tags, which is very rarely used, quarterback Daniel Jones for $37.83 million, which is $6 million less than what the franchise tag would have been. Um, so they hold on to Daniel Jones. They're going to pay him $37.83 million guaranteed. Um, he's going to be coming back after a torn Achilles. I know your thoughts on Daniel Jones. But I mean, I think this is smart for them. He was playing really good with them. I think he found a new home, and he really thrives in the system that they have there. So I'm not gonna say that they're doing the wrong thing. Just keep him around, and then they'll work to get a new deal done with him either this off season or next off season after the season happens.
I actually have no issue with that, with them franchise tagging them. Um, I mean, there's not a lot of quarterbacks that's on the market as it is anyway. Think there's a handful. And majority of them you will have to probably get through either a trade like Kyler Murray or Tua Tungaloa. So I mean, I don't have an issue with that. I mean, he did play well during the season until he got hurt. Um, so yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, speaking of Kyler Murray, um, Arizona intends to release him uh on March 11th, barring there's any trade before then. Arizona still owes him $36.8 million guaranteed for 2026 and $19.5 million in 2027, which would have triggered and started at March 15th. Uh, Murray's 7 seasons with the Cardinals. He was then a overall pick. He was the Rookie of the Year in 2019. He's a two-time Pro Bowler. In 87 starts, he threw for 20,460 passing yards, 3,193 rushing yards, 121 passing touchdowns, 32 rushing touchdowns, and 16 receptions. I mean, and the Cardinals have had ups and downs with him. Again, your thing is always that he's so short. Um,
That was my only issue with him, his height. I mean, he was a
yeah,
great playmaker. I mean, he has a
he's
strong
so
arm.
talented. Hmm.
His issue is because he's so short, he gets a lot of passes knocked down at the line of scrimmage.
Hmm. Like he's super talented. Um, super mobile, a dual threat quarterback, which is not a premium in the NFL today. So again, a lot of teams are going to be trying to get him. I don't see him getting traded. People will just go for him and get him for. They're gonna do like what the Steelers did with Russell Wilson. They're gonna sign him to like a $1 million minimum guaranteed because he's getting paid by the Falcons this entire season for the $36.8 million guaranteed. So again, he has a chance to kind of rejuvenate his career. His problem is he's short and he doesn't really stay healthy. He's had a hard time barely putting together full seasons recently. And today, the Chargers are planning to release their guard Makai Becton to save $9.7 million. And surprisingly, Dallas has officially restructured Dak Prescott's, Tyler Smith's, and CeeDee Lamb's contracts, creating $47 million in cap room. So,
Yeah, and you know what they plan on doing with that cap room? They plan on going after defensive players from the Philadelphia Eagles.
yep. But hey, it looks like they're actually doing something with the mindset of we're this year's our year. They're actually making a bit of an effort, unlike in years past.
Yeah, but let's face it, is it really going to be their year?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
But no, it's funnier because it's giving the fans more hope. So that's what's making it better. And stunningly, today as I was typing everything up, Kansas City Chiefs traded cornerback Trent McDuffie to the Rams for a 2026 first round pick, which is the 29th pick in the draft, a 2026 fifth and sixth round pick, and a third round pick in 2027. I was not expecting this move. The Chiefs are just, I don't know, kind of unloading, kind of doing like a half rebuild right now. I don't know what they're doing, trading away one of their best defensive players to the Rams, who are already really good. Um,
Well, I think most of
again,
it is they're trying to get under the cap because they're ridiculously over the cap.
yeah. And I guess again that they liked all the picks that they were going to get out of the Rams, so no players got moved. It was just picks and then Trent McDuffie to the Rams. Again, this bolsters that Rams defense even more than what it was. The secondary was kind of their weakness, so they're going to get a huge bolster in that. So that's all the news I got. Now we can get into the free agency or the free agents that are going to be coming up. Again, the new season year starts about March 11th. So in a week from now, there will be more people getting released, which we'll talk about next week. Nothing in the NBA happened, so we can get into the free agents coming up uh, this year.
All right, well, let's jump into it. The first one on the league. I can't speak this week. I don't know what's going on. The first one on the
What about one?
list is Malik Willis.
Yeah, the Packers backup quarterback. He played really good in the stints where Jordan Love was out, and he was taking over for him. That's an interesting one. There's a lot of teams out there. Obviously, again, like we've mentioned, got Dolphins that they're probably going to move on from Tua. The Cardinals are moving on from Kyler. They have Jacoby in this starting spot for right now. Um, the Raiders, who are probably going to take a quarterback high in the draft. So there's a few teams that could definitely use him, or the Packers could be smart and just re-sign him to be the backup. But again, he's super talented quarterback. And I'd be very interested to see. Again, a lot of teams could use a quarterback, even when the Steelers right now, because we don't know what's going on with Aaron Rodgers yet. Um, so yeah, very interesting. A lot of upside with him for teams right now.
Yeah, this one is kind of weird to me because before when he first came into the league, he was in with the Titans, and the report on him was the fact that as talented as he was, he just wasn't a good enough quarterback. And then he goes to Green Bay, and it becomes a complete opposite. So obviously, you know, like we've always say, sometimes just quarterback needs the right coaching. Because like we said, look at what happened with Caleb Williams. That maybe going to Green Bay and with the coaching staff and basically we playing behind Jordan Love, made him a better quarterback. Um, I don't think he should have been number one on the list because there's a lot of more talented players that deserve to be higher than he is. But I guess because of the fact that there's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks, they're throwing quarterbacks out there just right away.
Yeah, again, his stint with the Titans isn't good, but that's a lot of quarterbacks right now. I mean, we're gonna think of Cam Ward. He didn't have a great first year, really, but I mean, it's the Titans. So yeah, I mean, again, a quarter, not just quarterbacks, but mostly quarterbacks. It depends on the situation that they're in, coaching wise, structure wise, team wise. And they just thrive
Team
better in
wise,
certain situations. Yeah, and just that's I think what's going on here. You know, Titans didn't want to work out, and with the Packers, it's just a lot better for them. So again, I could see why they have number one. Again, there's definitely more talented players on the list, but I could see it just based off of the need for quarterbacks. Uh, on with how many teams probably need one right now.
like number two on the list, of course, he actually comes off because he's been franchise tagged. George Pickens. He was
Yeah,
franchise
again, it
tagged. What?
was. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they franchise tagged him, which was smart. They're keeping around, letting him prove himself again, to show what he's worth this upcoming season. Because again, he was doing great last season, especially with Lamb out. And then when Lamb came back, and then he had that stretch of games that we talked about of like he didn't really show a lot of effort. So, again, now they're going to give him a chance to prove what he's worth in this in the wide receiver market. So yeah, not much on that one. I think that was about very smart from them to do that.
My only issue with that is the fact that you know, yeah, Dallas was smart franchise tagging him, but at the same time, you also got to look at he's kind of like a diva receiver where he wants to be the number one option, and with CD Lamb there, it's like he kind of got into his feelings and was pouting a bit when CD Lamb came back. To me, that causes concern. Hopefully, he grows out of that and realize, you can be still, you can be 1A and 1B. Either way, I mean, both of them together on the field is going to force teams to do double coverage. So one of them is going to be left open. If not, your third wide receiver is going to be left open, which will make your offense move even better. So yeah,
Yeah,
he just needs to grow out of that, pouting because he has to split the number one receiving spot with a receiver that's been there a lot longer and has actually been a better wide receiver than George Pickens, in my opinion, with CD Lamb.
yeah, he just needs to grow up and mature, and someone's got to tell him, like, listen, like this is probably one of your best situations that you could be in the NFL. Just take being the one B, and you know what? Just take whatever money gets thrown to you, and you know what? Just stay here because this is again, like I said, just one of the best situations in the NFL right now.
I mean, I don't know if it's the best situation, but
No, I
it's,
know, I know. That's why I said it's one of the best. Like like having CD there again, he's gonna get more, or like he should get open a bit more because he's not the number one. I don't think George Pickens is really ever gonna be the number one anywhere because it's gonna be very tough for him to get open all the time. Whereas having CD there is a bit easier for him to get open.
yeah, I agree. Um, Next on the list, give me 1 second. I just lost my list. Okay. Jalen Phillips.
Yeah, very talented defensive end that just got released by the Dolphins about 2 weeks ago when they released Tyreek Hill. Again, a lot of teams are going to be bidding for him. Again, he's very talented, fast. He has a bit of an injury bug issue. He tore his Achilles a few years ago, and then I think he had a knee issue a few years ago as well. So, but again, he is super talented. Can get to the quarterback very easily. A lot of sacks. Again, with the Dolphins, they were just getting rid of everybody a few weeks ago. So again, a lot of upside to any team that would bring him in, and that would make them very, very formidable. That's for sure.
Um, Part of me is confused with what the Dolphins are doing.
They don't even know.
I understand they're in kind of a rebuild mode, but letting go of some of your best players really aren't the best way to do it because you're going to need those players, to be the on defense, especially the defensive leader and stuff like that. So, I mean, I could see why they're doing it because they are rebuilding and they want to try to make you know transition easier for the new head coach. But yeah, that's to me is just a bad way to do it.
Wait. Oh yeah, he got traded to the Eagles. I forgot.
Who did?
Uh, Jalen Phillips. I forgot that. Oh yeah, that's right. He got traded midseason to the Eagles last year. I forgot about that. And I guess he's has an expiring contract, so he'll be a free agent. So yeah,
Still,
the Eagles should
it was still
definitely.
done by the Dolphins.
Mhm. So yeah, again, if he is a free agent, definitely again any team that would sign him would be getting a very good linebacker slash defensive end.
I think that was one of the players that Dallas was looking at.
Again, they need help on the defensive end, so that wouldn't surprise me.
They need a lot of help on the defensive end. The fourth top free agent, Tyler Lindenbaum.
I'll be honest, I don't really know who that guy is. Ravens. He is he's a center. Um, I yeah, I mean, I would see the Ravens keeping him. Um, again, but if not, I mean, he's played 4 seasons with the Ravens. A young guy, young center. They like him a lot. Uh, again, he's one of the top centers in the league. It says here. So you know what? Again, there's really not much to say on offensive linemen and centers because there's really no stats I can go by. But again, what I've seen, because the Steelers play the Ravens twice a year, he's always really good, really consistent. Doesn't really have too many penalties. So, uh,
Well, from what
but
I found on him,
I see the Ravens
um,
starting and keeping him.
so a lot of people was projecting that he's going to sign with the Tennessee Titans, which will be a great move for them because that'll protect Cam Ward. Apparently, looks like he is the top center in the league. Um, and the Titans, who have the league high of 93.8 million in cap space, can't afford to go out and basically spend that much money, as much money on him to protect Cam Ward. Um, but my thing is, I mean, I get it. You know, centers are one of the hottest commodities on the offensive line next to a left tackle. My thing is, do you really want to go to that shit show down in Tennessee?
That's what I'm saying. Like you would leave the Ravens to go there. I don't know. Is the money worth it?
Exactly. Well, I mean, I guess if they look at it where, I mean, if he's going to be the top paid center in the league, I mean, you could hope maybe that they'll build the offensive line around him, and they'll start protecting Cam Ward and stuff like that. But yeah, I just wouldn't. Me personally, I would like, I'll take less money to stay with the Ravens.
Yeah, me too. There's not a chance I would go to the Titans. No offense to any Titans fans, I'm sorry, but there's no way.
Okay, next on the list, Alex Pierce.
The Colts got to keep him. There's no two ways about it. Daniel Jones loved him. He really exceeded this year. Um, he's needed in the offense. He really is. They have a lot of talented wide receivers. He's one of the top ones, if not the top one, in some people's opinions. They need to keep him. He had a great season this past season. So again, the Colts they're really pushing to sign him. But they put the transition tag on Daniel Jones. Um, but again, works. They're working to sign both of them. So again, they are. He's a much needed sign for them, but one of probably the important signs of the offseason.
So from what I read, Pierce is intent on. I mean, his mind is set to test free agency, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with a player testing free agency to see what he can get on the market. That doesn't necessarily mean he's going to leave the team. He just wants to see what he's worth. The number for the Colts to keep him, they're saying is going to be roughly around at least. Uh, they're saying at least 30 million per year, which is fucking crazy for a wide receiver. Did I just lose my co-host?
What?
I said the number to keep Pierce would be around
Oh
roughly
yeah.
around 30 million, which is crazy for a wide receiver.
Well, was he a wide receiver and a quarterback? Jesus Christ.
Exactly. So I mean, like I say, I know there's a lot of players that do test free agency just to see what they're worth, and a lot of them use it as a marketing tool to get more money. So, which that's what I'm thinking he's doing. He's just going to use that as a marketing tool. He's going to get a couple of offers from other teams, and then come back to Indianapolis like, hey, this is what this team's offering me. This is what this team's offering me. This is what this team's offering me. What are you going to offer me? So I do see
But
him still re-signing with the Colts.
yeah, me too. Again, we're just smart. Hey, go and get your money. Just see what you're worth. I'm all for it.
Next one, number 6, Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah, this guy is done with the Bengals messing with them, not agreeing to a contract. There's been years and seasons of just not getting what he wants out of them. He literally, I think, pretty much as soon as the franchise tag uh, um, deadline ended, he put out an Instagram post of thanking the Bengals. So he's pretty much leaving the Bengals. He's done with it. Um, so he will, to me, about 99% be leaving the Bengals. And this guy's one of the top sack guys in the league almost every season. He's a disruptor on defense. So you know what? Good for him. Get out of the Bengals. They keep messing with him, not resigning him to what he wants. Any team will be lucky to have a guy like Trey Hendrickson. So again, good luck to him. And man, and any team that gets him is lucky.
So yeah, I agree. He needs to get out of Cincinnati. I mean that's another shit show. It's not as bad as Tennessee, but it's definitely a shit show where nobody on that team could stay healthy. There's just so much going on with that team that it's just a bad karma around that team. The team that's basically I think will end up getting him because they went after him last year. The Colts. Um, yeah. The only issue with signing him would be his, you know, um, he's a high risk to get injured because he's been injured for the last couple of seasons. And like last season, I believe he only played 7 games. So you're taking a big risk signing this guy. But again, what people don't realize is some players, yeah, on certain schemes and stuff like that, the scheme is what could get them, injured. You could go to a different team and never see it get injured at all because it's running a different scheme. So, I mean, yeah, it's a risk, but I think it's a well rewarded risk going after that guy for any team that gets him.
Yeah, I mean, but with the injury, it could have been something so minor. But he's like, I'm not gonna play for this team that doesn't even want to pay me, and I'm not gonna risk, you know, my career with a minor injury and making it something more major for a team that doesn't want to pay me like I want to be paid. It could have been something like that too. But
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying though.
All right. Next on the list, Devin Lloyd.
This guy's a pretty good linebacker for the Jaguars. Not much to say on him. I'll be honest. Again, he's on the Jags. Didn't watch a lot of the Jacksonville Jaguars, but from what I know about him, he's an all around linebacker right now. He was the 27th pick in 2022 NFL draft. He had 5 interceptions last season. So again, he's a ball hawking linebacker. Jags are really pushing to keep him, um, along with ETN as well. But again, Jags should definitely keep him. But again, I'm gonna say this about everybody that is on this list because it's the top free agents. Anybody who gets them will be lucky. But again, I really think the Jags are going to just resign him. Um, again, due to how good he's been in the few seasons he's been in the league.
I agree with that. The Jags do need to re-sign him. I mean, he had a career season this season. This past season. Um, he was he basically was one of the faces of that defense that shocked a lot of us because even the offense on the offensive side of the ball shocked us, but we knew they had a pretty decent defense. But this year, their defense was not too. I think it was a top 10 defense, if not just outside of the top 10. And Devin Lloyd was part of the reason. Um, I know a team targeting him is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because they're looking to, with Levante Davis being 36 and being a free agent. And then their backup Deion Jones is also a free agent. They needed somebody in that spot. So I could see him staying in Florida, just not in Jacksonville. Maybe heading down to Tampa.
I mean, that would be smart. Or I don't know. Again, with all the momentum that the Jags have right now, I don't know. But yeah, I like that. On the Levante David, a bit of mentorship, but again, he seems to be doing quite well there in Jacksonville. Uh, so yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with it.
Like I said, it'll be smart. It'll be very smart for Jacksonville to resign him.
Mhm.
So, next on the list, we already talked about him. Daniel Jones. He's been franchise tagged. Um, yeah, we basically already said what we had to say about Daniel Jones. Like
Mhm.
I said, I was the biggest harsh critic on Daniel Jones, and up until he got injured, he was playing well for the Colts. He didn't throw. He wasn't throwing the ball away or out tripping over his feet in the open field. So I
Again,
don't know. I don't
I'm
know
not
if you have
gonna bad
anything.
talk about him. He was playing on a broken bone in his foot, and he ended up tearing his Achilles in the other foot. So, I'm not gonna say nothing bad about him. He played good last season. And again, the tag was to make sure that they keep him, and just hopefully he comes back good, and then they will pay him what he's worth.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna butcher this name.
I could try and say it for you if you need me to. I could try and say it.
Odafe Owa.
Odafe
What
Owe.
was, what was that?
Odafe Owe.
Odafe Owe. Okay.
Yeah, it's all right. He's a linebacker or linebacker sets lineman for the uh, Los Angeles Chargers. He actually had 7.5 sacks last season, which is pretty good for him. Um, you know, again, he's one of the top free agents for a reason. He had a good season last year with the Chargers. who were a pretty good defense. Um, Again, I'll be honest, I didn't really I know of him because of we're just watching so much football. Um, Again, like what team is going after them. I'll be honest, I didn't like look too deep into a bunch of players. I know the main base names of who wants who, but Owe could really go to anybody, and I think it would just bolster their defense without a doubt. Again, with having the 7.5 sacks last season, he's definitely a force on the line. Um, so yeah, uh,
So the
again,
team that's projected to go after him, the Carolina Panthers.
the Panthers have a pretty good damn good defense right now, and the defense wasn't too bad last year.
Well, this is why they need to go after him. The Panthers generated an NFL low 148 quarterback pressures last season. So yeah, they wasn't really getting after the quarterback. They barely. I mean, you got to figure, quarterbacks are getting pressured by what, close to 20 times a game, if that, 15 to 20 times a game. And so you're looking at maybe they're getting to a quarterback maybe 5 times a game.
Mm, yeah,
So yeah, and pairing him with defensive tackle Derek Brown and other outside linebacker Nick Scorton, that would give him a pass rush that would at least help them get to the quarterback or at least pressure the quarterback, because you're looking at like you said, Owe had 7.5 sacks, Brown had 5 sacks, and Scorton had 5 sacks. So you're actually increasing your pass rush and helping out the your offense and stuff like that by trying to get the ball back so the offense can get back on the field.
yeah. Like what's crazy is that those 5 sacks, Miles Garrett did it in one game. So,
Yeah.
so that's just nuts. But yeah, again, it'd be bolstering their defense. I like that pairing with the Panthers. But I mean, I guess we'll see what happens with Oway.
Next on the list, and I'm surprised he was put at number 10. Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, I would add him one, if not two. Uh, all signs are definitely and all hearts are pointing towards him resigning with the Seahawks. Um, but he loves it there in Seattle with obviously the success they just had. Um, to me that they'd be stupid if they don't resign him. Again, unless another team really, really, really drags him away from there, I don't see him leaving. Uh, again, he's loved his time there. With all reports, he hasn't had a problem with anything there. So again, with Seattle, I see them keeping Kenneth Walker. And if not, then I don't know what the hell is going to happen in the world then.
Okay, when I tell you the team that's projected to go after him, please don't walk off the set. So the Kansas City Chiefs are projected to go after him if the Seahawks don't re-sign him.
They're not going to get him because again, I'm saying about 95% sure he's staying with the Seahawks.
I mean, I'm thinking he's going to stay with the Seahawks as well. The reason why the Chiefs are going, which to me kind of doesn't make any sense, because they have Pacheco, who's other than this past season because of injury, has always been a workhorse for Kansas City. And so, I mean, they're thinking, okay, let's get Walker, and that's going to bolster the running game because the running game was ranked 25th last year. Okay, you have Pacheco out for half of the season. You also had who was the backup?
Hunt.
Yeah, he missed a couple of games. So yeah, your running game wasn't that strong. Your offensive line wasn't that strong to begin with as well. So they couldn't create holes or hold for the running back to get through. So what makes you think just getting Walker is going to make it any different? Yeah, Walker is a stronger runner, but you still got to create holes so them to get through. You can't just keep trying to run to the outside, especially in today's game with the speed of all these linebackers. They shut down the outside runs a lot now because they're so fast. So you need that running back that could go, be able. You need a line that could open up a hole up through the middle so they could get those tough yards. I know they want to try to make it as a safety security blanket for Pat Mahomes when he come back, but still, I mean, it just it just doesn't make any sense. There's more holes on in Kansas City that they need to fill than going after another running back.
Yeah, that's probably should be bottom of their priorities getting another running back right now. They need to really, really get a hold of that offensive line. You know, if they just released one of their offensive linemen this week anyway.
Okay, next is Boy Mafe.
Also known as Boye Mafe.
Okay, whatever.
Close enough. He's a linebacker for the Seahawks, on that stifling Seahawks defense. If I am all Seattle guys that are to hit free agency, I would stay with the Seahawks. To me, they have one of the best chances again to just go back and make the Super Bowl. Even if you gotta take a bit of a pay cut right now, I would just stay there and see what you guys can build together. Because can he put good last season? Uh, yeah, he was all over the field. If he wasn't getting tackles, he was at least forcing the offensive players to go the other way, and other people getting tackles. He was flying all over the field. Again, Seahawks keep him. Mafe stay with the Seahawks because you know what? And this team is really just set in place to just keep winning year after year after year after year after year with our everything is structured right now with the Seahawks.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you just came off of a championship run. Um, I mean, most teams, usually try to keep their team intact. I mean, Seattle's been known to do that. They did it with the Legion of Boom. They pretty only one that they got rid of was Bauer, but everybody else they brought back constantly. So, they would be stupid to let him walk and go to somewhere else. But yeah, I mean, if I was on a championship team, yeah, I would take a pay cut to come back to try to get a second one.
Yeah, I mean, so some people just get one and they're like, all right, that's good, and they'll just keep getting more money. Which again, to each their own. But I would love a lot more Super Bowl rings and a few extra $1 million, I guess.
Well, you also got to look at it this way. Okay, you got your one Super Bowl ring. Okay, you take a pay cut for a couple. Stay like 2 more years. Get maybe one or two more after that. Now you got two, potentially three. Okay, now you can say, okay, I got at least got three. Okay, now I could go after my money
Hmm.
because now you show that you was willing to be a team player and you took less so we could keep this the championship run going. And now it's like, okay, I did my part. Okay, now I just want to go get my money. So if you guys are going to pay me what I want, that's great. If not, I'll go find somewhere else to do it. I mean, look,
Hmm.
Tom Brady was a perfect example, constantly taking less money so they can rebuild. And I mean, they was constantly winning Super Bowls. Pat Mahomes just restructured his contract, so they could bring people in. So I mean, you got players that I was looking at the bigger picture and saying, okay, I'll do this for this time, but down the road, let's compensate me and pay me more, or I'll just go somewhere else. And we both are about players getting their money, because, especially in the NFL, because you know your career is not guaranteed. At any given time, you could have a career ending injury.
Hmm.
So I mean, we're both all about people getting their money. You know we just don't want to see players being too greedy and destroying a team and just going to take money from a crappy team that's not going to ever have a chance to win a championship.
Absolutely. And me say all the time, go get your money. But in the case of Mafe, he's young. Again, I know that the career isn't always guaranteed, but I would say with the Seahawks for at least another 1 to 2 years, and just see what you guys can build there.
All right, next one is Rashid Shaheed.
Another Seahawk. Um, Very important to them. Kick returner, wide receiver wise. Again, I'm gonna say about all Seahawks. Try and keep them. I understand cap room is probably gonna be running into an issue. Shaheed is a bit more flexible to kind of lose, I guess. But I mean, again, he was a very important piece. They got him in a trade with the Saints last year. Um, Again, any team could use a guy like him. Again, the explosiveness in the kick return game, which could really flip a game around and energize just a whole team. And again, his long threat ability on wide receiver also. So again, Shaheed. Um, to me, there's really no certain spot where he's going to go. I mean, he could definitely just resign with the Seahawks, but I could see him also going other places as well. Unlike a few of the other guys that we've talked about.
um, for me, it's kind of a weird thing for me with uh, like kick returners. Um, yeah, I know every team needs this, that kick returner that is a threat to take it back to the house. But with the way the kickoff is designed now, I mean, you really don't get that many returns. I mean, if you do, you're still going to end up like at the 40 or 50 yard line. So I mean, they don't necessarily have to re-sign him. It would be great if they did, but it's not something that's it's a necessity that has to be they have to re-sign him, because I'm pretty sure you could find an explosive kick returner either in the draft or in free agency.
Yeah, I mean, shockingly, I mean, with the new kickoff rules, there's been a bit more kickoff returns, but like you said, they don't get much farther than the 40 or the 50. But in the rare cases, with Shaheed and his speed, and he has returned a few this past season. So again, I think they should re-sign him. But again, cap space will with them with who we just talked about. It was three in a row for them, so would be a bit tough, but we'll see.
All right, next is Bryce Hall.
Yeah, Brees Hall, he got tagged by the Jets yesterday, so we don't got to talk about him. He got franchise tagged yesterday.
Um, oh joy. Elijah Vera Tucker.
There you go. You got that one. Elijah Vera Tucker. I believe I know him. Yeah, he's on the Jets as well. He's a guard. Uh, again, he could really go really anywhere. Uh, he was out all last season with a triceps injury. I mean, he's one of the best linemen that they have. Um, in a semi-weak offensive line. Um, I see a lot of teams bidding on him to try and get him in, even though coming off of an injury, he still is one of the better guards in the league. So again, with offensive linemen, I don't really got much to say on them. But yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see what happens with him and if he stays with the Jets.
I mean, us ranking offensive linemen is kind of hard, um, because the where their stats are. Their stats are basically in two categories: pancakes and sacks given up. So I mean, they're not as the offensive line is not a glamorous position in the NFL compared to every other position. But I mean the Jets, I just don't know. I mean, that's a team that's just they don't know if they're coming or going right now. I mean, with Aaron Glenn as the head coach, I mean, I don't know why he even took that position to begin with. I get it; he was
For
an ex
money.
Jet at one point, but still, I mean, it's the owner, he's pretty much worse than Jerry Jones. So I don't know what to say about any players coming from the Jets because that's beyond a shit show. They're right there ranked with the Tennessee Titans.
Yep, there ain't much more to say about that.
Okay, next is David Edwards.
He's a guard on the Bills. Again, once again, offensive lineman. They're looking to keep him. They probably should keep him, but it's the NFL. These players move around very often, so I guess we'll see with him. Again, there's not much for me to say. It's an offensive lineman.
Yeah, um like I said, it's kind of hard to discuss offensive linemen because like I said, it's a non glorious position. Yes, it's a very meaningful position because it protects your quarterback and has opened up holes for your running back. But it's a position that's very rarely talked about unless you're a left tackle. The Bills' offensive line, I mean, I didn't think they was that bad. They could have been a little bit better. Um, but at the same time, the Bills, they need to focus on rebuilding that defense because that defense cost them a lot of games. So I mean, that should be their main focal point.
Yeah, especially in the run game. Their defense was very subpar.
Now, this one's going to interest you, Mr. Mike Evans, former of the Buccaneers.
Yep, Mike Evans. I can't really see him in a different jersey than the Bucks. I don't think his tenure is done with the Bucks. But the ups and down seasons that they've had recently, him and Baker have a good connection at least. But again, just kind of the inconsistency from the team perspective, his production. He did get injured last year twice, so I'll give him a leeway on that one. But he's still one of the top wide receivers in the league. If you want to argue with me, that's fine. And I think when it comes to importance to a team, he's one of the top guys in the league. Like you could tell when he's out. He has the second year guy now, Yabuka. So, which is extremely talented. So he's going to be getting some target shares as well, and it's going to hopefully open up some opportunities for Evans, like we saw last year when they were all healthy. So again, he Evans was one of those players I don't see him in a different jersey other than a Bucks jersey because he's been there for so long. But again, I get to see him being like, all right, this is kind of run its course. I'm gonna go somewhere else and see what I can accomplish.
I agree with you. I can't see him in any other jersey but a Bucks jersey. But then again, we said the same thing about Tom Brady, and look what happened there. Um, yeah, it's just again, it's hard for me to see him going somewhere outside of Tampa Bay. He's basically been a Tampa Bay fixture. The only thing I could see the reason why the Bucks won't re-sign him is because of his age and his injury risk. Because I mean, we've seen it for the last 2 years. He hasn't been able to stay healthy. So that could be the only thing I could see with them not re-signing Mike Evans.
Yeah, I mean that's what's going to keep kind of a lot of teams weary of signing him. But again, in the end, I think he does sign back with the Bucks and just finishing out his career there. I'll be honest, I think that's where he's going to end up.
Although one of the teams that was projected to possibly sign him was the Los Angeles Chargers.
That'd be interesting with John Harbaugh or with Harbaugh, whatever the fucking one it is. Um, and Herbert, that would that would be a cool fit.
That would be an interesting fit.
Hmm.
Next on the list is Jamal Dean.
Another Buck, cornerback, safety. Um, very solid all around player. Does a lot for that defense. A bit injured last year or the past few seasons, so it would be kind of a that'd be my only thing as a GM, uh, with if I wanted him or not, his injury risk. But when he's out there, he is a very good defender. Um, he doesn't allow much by him, much much to uh. If he does allow a catch, it's in front of him. He doesn't let a guy get past him. So, um, again, he could really go anywhere. He's not one I'm thinking is going to stay with the Bucks. I see him kind of going off to a different team in the offseason.
Yeah, um, like I said, well, a lot of players that that have an injury bug. It's hard to tell if it's because of the scheme because they put in certain positions and they just end up on the wrong end of it, or if they're just really truly just injury prone. I mean, like I said earlier, we've seen some players, who have been injured on a certain team and then go to a different team and you don't hear about them getting injured anymore because they're in a completely different scheme. So anything is possible with when it comes to injuries. But yeah, I mean, it would be smart for the Bucks to re-sign him, but it's not a necessity. Um, I could see him going to another team. Which team I don't know. He wasn't part of the list of players or teams that are after him. So, but yeah, I'm sure he'll end up somewhere.
Yep.
All right, next, Cade Auden.
He's the tight end on the Buccaneers. Um, if I were them, I would sign it. I would definitely stay with him. Um, very reliable tight end. He only had, I think, concussion issues last year. Very reliable. Baker Mayfield loves him. When everybody else was out, Kate Ott was the number one guy to go to. Um, Tight ends aren't at a premium like they used to be in the NFL. That they're kind of going in and out of, uh, having a bunch of good ones and then having some mediocre ones. Otten is in the good category. Again, just due to he's a bit. Again, he's an all around tight end. He's a good run blocker and he's a good receiving tight end. So the Bucks should definitely keep him. And if they don't, that to me that'd be a huge hit to their offense and what they like to do on the offensive end.
Yeah, I agree. The Bucks should re-sign him. He became Baker Mayfield's safety blanket after, especially after all the injuries. Um, I mean, that team was riddled with injuries. Mike Evans was down for a while. Godwin was. I mean, it took him a while for him to come back. Um, there was just tons of injuries all over the place on the offensive side of the ball. And Auden was, like I said, he was his basically his safety point because he had nobody else to throw the ball to.
Hmm.
So I mean, it will be smart for them to resign him. At least it keeps Baker Mayfield with his safety option. Especially if Mike Evans isn't brought back, or in case for God forbid injuries again.
Yep.
The next on the list is another tight end, your buddy Kyle Pitts.
Actually, we didn't got to talk about him because guess what? Kyle Pitts got franchise tagged, I think, last week. So they tagged him very early so they can tag him and use him even better this season. Yeah. So we could we can go right by him. I mean, unless you want to talk about him, I got much to say because I mean we make a joke they don't know how to use him and they still haven't learned how to in his I think 5 seasons in the NFL. But they're going to give him another year. Maybe they'll finally learn how to use him for an entire season, not just like 2 games and the whole season.
You do know who the new head coach is, right?
Yes,
And you think he's going to use him?
it'd be smart if he did.
Well, he might because he was had a high usage of Njoku until he
Yeah,
got hurt. So I mean, it's a possibility that Nick Sirianni, who I'm still puzzled how he got a job after that Cleveland fiasco.
it's Kevin Stefanski.
Whatever. I'm still puzzled how he got a job after that Cleveland fiasco.
I think we all are.
So, next is Isaiah Likely.
Whew. This is number two tight end, but he plays like a number one tight end there on the Ravens because Mark Andrews has fallen off the face of the earth as their tight end. Um, oh my goodness. Again, I if there's one of the few players that I'm like, if I was him, I'd go somewhere else. Because right now he is a damn good tight end. He plays like a wide receiver almost. He's slimmer than most tight ends,
Yep.
so he's a bit faster. And again, Mark Andrews, they want to keep saying is their number one tight end, but likely they've been looking to him in the past few years for the big time targets at the tight end spot because Mark Andrews, I don't know what the hell happened to him. So if I were him, I would go somewhere else. Again, one of the only guys on this list I will say okay to do that because he could be getting paid a good hefty amount and get the number one target shares at the tight end spot, other than being the backup to Mark Andrews or the 1A, 1B to Mark Andrews, which I don't think at tight end really works that well.
Um, Isaiah Likely is more built like Kyle Pitts because Kyle
Hmm.
Pitts is built that same stature where he's tall, not he's built like a wide receiver, but he just plays tight end. I agree. I mean, him going to a different team will be beneficial for him instead of being a backup to Mark Andrews. But yeah, I mean, teams that could use him. I mean, there's a lot of teams that could use a great tight end. So yeah,
I got nothing. Fucking Isaiah Likely, he's one of the better options out there. I mean, I would have had him higher again, just based off of his talent and his upside there, and he's a good run blocker too. So a
yep.
lot of upside.
Okay, is going to hit home for me.
Yeah, it
Wandell
stings.
Robinson.
You guys got to keep this guy. I mean, the way he stepped up in the absence of neighbors. Oh my goodness. I mean, he had games where he was 150 yards, almost 200 yards receiving. Absolutely balled out for you guys. I'm not gonna say much because this is your again. It hits home to you, Devontae Robinson. Again, I think you guys 100% need to go and re-sign him hard. Get give him what he wants because right now Dart needs stability and people who he could trust, and Wanda Robertson was obviously someone he could really, 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 really trust. So, Dan, I'll let you take it away because it is your guy, Wandell.
Yeah, I mean, outside of Theo Johnson, Wandell was his favorite target. Um, with neighbors going down, Slayton was very questionable. Um, to me, Slayton is not a number one or number two. He's basically dropped himself down to a slot receiver, which is the position while Wandell Robinson plays. And Robinson at that slot position was very used. I mean, he would be matched up with corners that was his size. And he was pretty much faster than most of them, so he was able to get separation. Um, and the plays he made for Dart was unbelievable. So yeah, they definitely need to resign him. I would find a way to trade Darius Slayton. Do I believe Robinson could be a number two? He has a number two talent, but because of his size, he sits there at the slot receiver because then he doesn't have to deal with the bigger corners, which will be able to jam him on the line. As long as he stays a slot receiver, he's facing corners his size, unless you get like a freak defense like Seattle's where all their corners are like 6'3" and shit. But yeah, it would be easier for them. I mean, to re-sign him. Like I said, outside of Theo Johnson, he was basically Dart's safety, first safety net. Johnson was his second safety net, and it would be nice to see him back. With healthy neighbors, um, a healthy Cam Scatterboo when he comes back. That young offense that was very exciting after they benched Russell Wilson, just to see what they could do with a full year together.
Yeah, and again, in the draft, they could go after another wide receiver. Who knows? Which would be smart because again, that would keep Wandale kind of in the slot,
Yeah.
which is where he thrived.
Okay. Next is Rashid Walker.
Yeah, he's an offensive tackle for the Packers. Packers need to. I mean, again, I would say resign him. Uh, again, continuity on the offensive line is key in the NFL. We've seen time and time again. The longer that teams stick with the same offensive line, it usually ends well for them. And that's another example. Packers need to keep him. Again, it's another lineman, but Yeah, again, Packers should keep him. It's very rare where teams like kind of move around pieces on the offensive line and it stays successful. We saw with the Bears, they traded a lot of their pieces and they got a few offensive linemen and then it worked. But that doesn't always work all the time. But uh, again, Packers should resign him and just keep the continuity with the offensive line.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, it's another offensive lineman. We really don't have much when we come to offensive linemen, but that offensive line, was a very solid offensive line. So yeah, I mean, to disrupt that could be dangerous because now you don't know if the person you get to replace them will gel with what you already have there, or take the risk of just things not working right, and then next thing you know, your quarterback's running for his life. Your running back can't get through, can't get a hole opened up and get to the line of scrimmage. So yeah, I mean, usually teams don't disrupt their offensive line, but some teams, just are stupid and do it. I don't see the Packers doing that. I do see them re-signing him. It would be smart if they did. All right, we're coming to the end. We got three more left. The next one, Jermaine Elminor.
Luminor, uh,
Close enough.
he's offensive. Yeah, he's offensive tackle for your New York Football Giants. Um, he was drafted by the Ravens in 2017. Again, he's a pretty solid offensive tackle. If I know of an offensive tackle, then that's a good thing. I recognize his name, so I knew that he was a tackle. So again, Giants, they have a good thing going right now. I would try and keep as many people as you could to just again, like I said, with the Packers and with offensive linemen, keep the continuity. It's a good thing.
Um, yeah. So we've been doing the podcast for going on 3 years now, and I think this is the first year you didn't hear me bitch about our offensive line.
No, no, it was actually good. It was just the quarterback and the coach which pissed you off this year.
So I mean, he's the right tackle. He's on the right side of the line. Um, I want them to resign him because he solidifies that right side of the line. And the offensive line, it took a while. We had to wait for key players to come back from injuries. Andrew Thomas, and but once everybody came back from injuries, the offensive line looked. I mean, looked very good. Um, I still think we need to find a right guard, but the rest of the line, I felt, was able to hold up. Um, but yeah, I mean, they need to keep that offensive line, with the same group of five starters, so they could gel together. And that has been the problem with the Giants is that they never had a consistent five starters that could gel together. And this was the first year that the offensive line pretty much was together for a majority of the year. And like I said, this was the first year that you didn't hear me bitch about the offensive line. I kept saying, we got Thomas back, just let him. He was on the snap count early in the season when he came back, so they pulled him out for like the fourth quarter and stuff like that. To me was stupid. I would have rather pulled him out in the third, sat him for the third quarter, than let him back in the fourth. But once he was back in football shape and everything, and he was out there full time with the rest of the offensive line, that offensive line was gelling.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, sorry, I thought you were done.
oh yeah, I was done. Go ahead.
Okay. Again, your offensive line wasn't the best, but it was definitely better than in years past. So again, if you guys can keep the same group, it'll only get better. Or it should only get better.
Next up, Travis Etienne.
Here's a guy I'd have higher on the list. I mean, he had a good year last year, 260 carries for 1,107 yards, which is 11th in the NFL, and he had 7 touchdowns. Jags, I I see them keeping him with the success they had last year with Lawrence and him. He's a new threat running back. He can catch out of the backfield as well. He had 36 receptions for 292 yards and 6 touchdowns. So he had about 13 combined touchdowns and almost or just under 1,300 yards. So and only one fumble throughout the entire year. So Jags need to keep him. Need to. I mean, I see them keeping him. Yes, he's a very young running back. That to me, it should be number one priority for them to keep him, and he'd be higher on my list if I made a list of top 25 NFL free agents.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you. He basically was Trevor Lawrence safety net when the play broke down. He could just give him a short dump and he could take break a couple of tackles. Next thing you know, he's halfway down the field about to score. So yeah, it would be smart for them to re-sign ATN. If anything, I mean, at least franchise tag him something. You want to keep that guy with your team. You want him to stay on your offense. You want him to be the safety blanket for Trevor Lawrence. So Trevor Lawrence is not forcing plays down the field, which was something he didn't do much of this year compared to the years in the past. Because we was harsh on Trevor Lawrence for like the last 3 years.
Well, yeah, he was the number one pick. He wasn't playing like it.
And so, I mean, they simplified the offense, and ATN basically benefited from that offense being simplified as well as Trevor Lawrence because he didn't have the turnovers like he was having. So yeah, if the Jags, want to make another run, a playoff run, um, you know, do you keep doing what you're doing, keep bringing back your key players, and because this team can be a championship team, if they get all the right pieces.
They have the right structure now. To me, it all leans on Trevor Lawrence, and if he can be consistent, it's a problem with me. Or that's my problem with him is that he's not consistent enough.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, last on the list, finally, John Franklin Meyer.
Yeah, he's a defensive end. He was on the Jets. Now he's on the Broncos. A pretty solid defensive end. He had 7.5 sacks last year, which is very good on a very talented Broncos defense. Um, Broncos, I see keeping him. I really do. Because again, they just have so much just firepower on the defense, and if I'm him, I stay on this team because again, Bonix getting injured was definitely terrible and really derailed their season. So again, I don't see it happening again. I see him just again. I'd say with the Broncos, and again, Broncos should be one of the top two teams in the NFC every year for the upcoming years because of just how talented this team is.
Yeah, I agree. The Broncos need to re-sign him. If it wasn't for Bo Nix, I believe they would have been in the Super Bowl instead of New England. That's just my personal opinion. I actually think you had them picked them as well. If they was if Nix
Yeah,
wasn't to get injured, you had them picked to go to the Super Bowl as well.
I did.
Um, yeah, that defense. I mean, we was kind of skeptical at the beginning of the season because it wasn't looking like the defense on paper that it should have been, and then all of a sudden, everything just clicked. And that defense reminded me of that no fly zone Broncos defense back in the early 2000s. Also remind me of the Orange Crush back in the '90s. So yeah, that defense. I mean, if they keep everybody together, I mean, and just filling gaps in the offense. I mean, to me, I don't think they really had much gaps in the offense. They just needed. Um, to me, I think the offense needed to start out better. Wait until like the fourth quarter to turn it on and start playing. Isn't always going to work.
No, the slow starts definitely hurt them in a lot of games. But yeah, I mean, this Broncos team is just going to be a force to be reckoned with for the foreseeable future. I got two more that actually happened today. One that happened very recently, and it reminded me because it scrolled across the ticker there. Um, the Patriots released Stephon Diggs, so he's going to be a free agent this upcoming season.
Oh yeah, I saw that
Um,
too.
which has been interesting to me. He had again, he stayed pretty quiet other than the controversy that is happening now with the assault and battery that he had like, against his ex girlfriend. So that could be why they got rid of him. I don't know. There's really not a lot of details right now of why they got rid of him. And then the other one is the Steelers actually within the past hour just released tight end Jonnu Smith to save $7 million in cap. Jonnu, we got in the trade for Jalen Ramsey, and we sent Mika Fitzpatrick to the Dolphins. To me, we did not utilize him to where we should have. He's a very good tight end. So any team that really does get him is very lucky because he is a very talented tight end all around. So yeah, those are the only other two that I had because I just looked at my phone and that's what I saw.
Yeah, the Stephon Diggs situation is just. I mean, we both said at the beginning of this last season, if he just stay quiet and just go out and play, don't ruffle no feathers, don't go off the crazy end, and just perform, he would be fine. Which is what he did. We didn't hear much about him in the news this season, but like you said, with the all what's going on with his personal life, I could see them. I could see the reason why the Patriots said, we're not going to deal with this anymore. Um, so yeah, I mean, like I said, he did what he was supposed to do. Just, I mean, he couldn't show up in the Super Bowl. I mean, while none of the receivers actually showed up in the Super Bowl, they were shut down. So
Oh yeah, and the Giants got rid of Bobby Okereke, their linebacker. I do wonder how
what?
you feel about that. Yeah,
I did not hear about that. When did
yeah,
that
because
happen?
the Giants tweeted, "Thank for everything you've given to the Giants. Thank you, Bobby." So Bobby Okereke.
Oh well, that sucks. Um. Okay, that caught me off guard.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing anything about that, but hey, it's literally from Ian Rappaport, which is the top NFL insider, and the Giants just tweeted it a few hours ago.
Now, give me a second. I'm just gonna double check it, just because I mean that was completely unexpected.
Oh yeah, it was March 3rd. Sources: the Giants have informed linebacker and defensive captain Bobby Okereke that he will be released. The team's Walter Man of the Year amassed 385 tackles in 3 seasons with the Giants, 143 last season, but now we'll get a head start on free agency. Okereke was entering the final year of a 4-year, $40 million contract and was due to make $9 million.
Yep, I just pulled it up on ESPN.
Yep.
Um, wow. Like I said, that just caught me off guard. I mean, he was a staple of our, defense.
I mean, yeah,
And
he's your captain. Yeah, he's your captain on defense.
And now to see that they release him, um, it's a possibility that they could have done that. I mean, I get it, did it to free up cap space, but I'm wondering if they also going to look to, you know,
Mm.
how some players will, you know, they'll take the release and then re-sign back with the same team for a different contract where it is more beneficial to the team down in the long run. Um, but yeah, yeah, that threw me off guard. So
Yeah,
yeah,
you
I
better hope
just
that's what happens.
because I can't see. Oh, now I think I know why. What led to the release of Okereke? Well, for the simple fact is, it says Harbaugh's track record suggests the Giants could make a significant push to fill the position. During his time in Baltimore, Harbaugh had a group of high profile linebackers like Ray Lewis and C.J. Mosley, Patrick Queen, and Roquan Smith. So it's a possibility that, you know, maybe Patrick, he's trying to get either Queen or Roquan Smith to get either in a trade, or because neither, I don't think either one of them is a free agent.
No, I don't think you're getting Patrick Queen from us, and Roquan's gonna be tough to get from the Ravens. So I don't know.
So it also says, so they're looking at Ohio State's Sonny Styles, who performed well at the combine, to solidify his status as one of the best linebacker prospects in this year's draft. They're also looking at Devin Lloyd, Leo Chanel, and Quay Walker are considered by most to be top available middle linebackers and free agents. So yeah, it's so yeah, they released Okereke, and then Micah McFadden is also a free agent. So right now you have no middle linebackers. So I mean, unless that's what Harbaugh is doing, looking into the draft. So now it brings a question for the draft with the fifth pick. Are you going after receiver, or are you going after middle linebacker?
Mm-hmm. Again, unless they're confident that they can get one of those top free agent ones, I guess we'll see what happens because free agency starts March 11th. So stuff will kind of fall into place after that. But again, unless they're that confident that they will get one of these top free agents, then they're gonna have a tough choice to make in the draft.
Yep. So yeah, it's gonna be like I said. It's gonna be. Whew, like I said, that threw me off. I didn't expect that. I wonder what, because I never got. I usually get a Giants alerts. I never got any alert about that.
It happened yesterday, I guess.
Well, Fox Sports is reporting something about Max Crosby being traded. Oh, you're gonna love where they're predicting. So basically, they're predicting either the Bears or the Cowboys.
Hmm. Fantastic.
Now,
Hope it
if he
goes
gets,
to the Bears. I like the Bears. I don't know why I like the Bears.
well, here's the funny thing: if he gets traded to the Bears, remember the last big name player that the Raiders traded to the Bears.
Yeah, Khalil Mack.
So, I mean, that would make it interesting to see him get traded to the Bears. A couple years after Khalil Mack got traded to the Bears,
Hmm.
and let's pray he doesn't get traded to the Cowboys.
I fucking hope not.
Yeah, that's just that's reported from Jay Glazer.
I mean, I guess it makes sense with all the, you know, them making cap space, but I really hope not. I really, 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 really hope not.
So he also says, I could see the Rams, Bears, and maybe the Bills or Ravens as suitors for Crosby. Him going to the Bears would be a nice move because that would literally help rebuild their defense. So the top five teams that they got projected for, that could get the Max Crosby, they say number one is the Cowboys. Go figure. Number two is the Chicago Bears. Three is the Baltimore Ravens. Four is the San Francisco 49ers. And the fifth team is the New England Patriots. So what is your thoughts about that?
All of them are interesting. Again, I like the Bears. Absolutely fucking not to the Cowboys. I like the Patriots one. That one would be interesting. It just the only thing is with a bunch of these teams is what would they have to give up to get him would be the biggest question mark.
And that's a good question. It says I just seen it. Okay. It says the Raiders potentially seek a trade package similar to the one the Dallas Cowboys received from the Green Bay Packers for Micah Parsons. One league source doesn't love the idea of trading Crosby, but he had a few potential destinations in mind for the disgruntled star.
Hmm.
So they're looking to get a similar package to what Dallas got for Parsons. Um, to me, it's kind of hard to judge if he's worth more than what Parsons got, or he's definitely not worth less because he's a
Yeah.
game record just like Parson was.
Yeah, I think they're worth pretty much about the same. So if they do get him traded, they're they're gonna get pretty much the same of what the Cowboys got for Parsons, if not maybe a little bit more if they're a bit greedy, but I guess we'll see.
So to me, I think probably the best option would be probably the Bears. I mean, unless Dallas is going to ship the package that they got from Green Bay for Parson to uh, Oakland, Las Vegas for Max Crosby. I mean, basically they're going to be end up being in the same position that they were before the trade because the whole purpose was so they could rebuild that team. So if you're going to turn around and just send what you got from Green Bay to Vegas, you're basically putting yourself in the same position that you was before you traded Parsons.
Yeah, but that's why I love free agency, why I love the offseason, because anything and everything can happen. So I guess we'll see what happens with Max and where he lands or what the big package is that he could be traded for.
Pretty much that's all the news I got for now.
That's all I got. I just refreshed it. There's nothing else.
Yeah, the only thing I got is about where people think Stephon Diggs is going to end up.
Whatever.
So yeah, let's see. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, yeah, that's. I mean, the only thing, the place that they said Leak Willis could possibly end up would be in Miami.
Yeah, man. Again, I'm pretty sure they're getting rid of Tua, so that wouldn't be a bad spot. He has Waddle there, A Chain, they're good offense. So
So yeah, I'm trying to see if there's any other big names that we could talk about real quick. Or I mean, they was talking about Trayvon Diggs, Stephon Diggs' brother. They think he might end up with the Commanders. They're saying Russell Wilson might end up with the Kansas City Chiefs.
that's fine.
um, let's see. Jadavian Clowney, who was with the Cowboys, said he might sign with the Ravens. That's a joke. They're saying Bobby Wagner might go back to the Rams. Of course, a lot of these are just players that are basically a little bit past their prime. They're saying Calais Thomas at 39 has a possibility to sign with the Packers. I think it's time for him to retire. What do you think?
Who?
Oh, this is something I'm not going to like. So they predicted Wandale Robinson might sign with the Falcons. Yeah.
with with Stefanski. Hell yeah.
They're predicting Kirk Cousins will go back to Minnesota. If I was Kirk Cousins, I'd be like, fuck you.
Mhm.
Let's see. So if the Falcons don't re-sign Kyle Pitts, they might sign David Njoku.
But I mean, they have Kyle Pitts for a whole nother year because they tagged Pitts. So
So that would be stupid to go after Njoku.
yeah, I mean, just to have him with Stefanski, but I don't know.
Um, let's see. Predicting Isaiah likely will sign with the Browns. How do you feel about that?
That'd be stupid. Again, don't go to the fucking Browns. I know that they don't really have a tight end right now, but I mean they do in Fannin, but just stay away from the Browns. At that point, just stay with the Ravens.
Yeah, I will agree with that. They're predicting Joey Bosa to join his brother in San Francisco.
But so they could both be injured at the same time on the same line now.
Uh
That's good.
huh. They're predicting Tyreek Hill to sign with the Chargers.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Don't ask me. Now that Stephon Diggs is released, they're predicting him to sign with the Titans.
Yeah, so then he can cry about his fucking receiving.
Yep, pretty much.
God, I get the ball.
Uh, they said Khalil Mack probably more likely will reach sign with the Chargers, which will be smart. Oh, Travis Etienne, they're predicting to go to the Saints.
That would be interesting. That would be very interesting.
They're predicting Kyler Murray to the Vikings.
Well, so the Vikings are gonna have three quarterbacks:
Probably.
Murray, Cousins, and JJ.
I don't think uh, Cousins is gonna go back to Minnesota. I just don't see it.
I don't see them getting Murray either, because again, like you have JJ, like, you're already gonna give up on him.
Well, you wasn't too high on JJ anyway.
No, but like they used a top pick on him, and he played not even one full season. I get he wasn't good at all in his only season, but still, I mean, shit.
I get what you're saying. They're predicting Alec Pierce to go to the Bills. Yeah, they're predicting like we did with Walker resigning with the Seahawks. That would be the smartest things. Oh, so Tyler Lindenbaum, they think will sign with the Giants. Now that would make sense with Jim Harbaugh. I like that move. Now they're saying Trey Hendrickson will sign with the Titans. Good lord. And that's pretty much about it. Yeah, I like that getting Tyler Lindenbaum. I'm okay with that.
Man, that'll be good. You guys need
That,
it.
that really solidify our offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know we got the young center that we drafted 2 or 3 years ago, but yeah, I mean, I'd rather take Lindenbaum over that center from Ohio State. So yeah. You want to go ahead and do the sponsors?
Yeah, is our store back up or no?
No, that's still down.
Okay. So our sponsor, Doobie Dubby, is an energy drink company for late night gamers or just anybody who needs a bit of energy, whether you're at work or could be going to work. Um, Again, luckily we still have them. They haven't gotten rid of us yet. So, uh, as of right now, but yeah, again, Tony can vouch that they have very good flavors over there, and they're coming out with new ones all the time. So get over there to their website, doobie.com, which is DUBBY. Uh, and if you type in our promo code DropZone, you will get
10%.
10% off of your order. And as I always say, who doesn't love to save some money? Um, Again, just a promo code DropZone, and you'll get 10% off your order.
Yep, and I just got an email from them. They got their. I'm guessing it was their biggest seller, the Dragon Age flavor, because apparently I keep getting emails that's back in stock, back in stock, it's back in stock. So yeah, I gotta get one and try that one when I get a chance. Because that seemed to be every time I turn around, I get an email that it's back in stock. I'm like, good lord, is that the only one y'all selling? So, but that's all we got for tonight. For all those I was watching, remember to hit that subscribe button. Make sure you share it as well. And until next week, when we get to talk about free agency because that's when the free agency period starts.
Yep.
Well, I like the fact that we moved our podcast to Wednesday because we seem to be getting right on track where everything is starting with the leagues.
Yeah, like it's like perfect.
Exactly.
It's
Free agency starting for the NFL. The NBA deadline was, I think it was Thursday. We was on the air that Wednesday.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, moving to Wednesday has actually benefited both of us because it turned out to work better for us because it actually gives us a little bit more to talk about than on a Sunday, and then we just recapping games that everybody already watched.
Yep. Yeah. We know what we're doing. Kind of.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
So yeah, all right. Until next week, everybody. Have a great week. We enjoy having everybody on. See you next week.
Yep.